on Paranormal Paparazzi.
What the
Can these teenagers really exorcise your demons?
You can get that junk out of you.
Are shadow people haunting this North Dakota high school? The janitor thinks so.
Does that make me crazy?
What flying phantasm has been spotted in Chicago?
I'm like, what the hell is that?
Plus, the Dread Central Report, Holly Weird headlines, and our ambush interview of the week. Join Aaron Sagers and his team of reporters as they travel the country hunting down stories of the paranormal.
Hey, Impaler!
On Paranormal Paparazzi.
Hey guys, I want to dive right into the stories this week. The first one I'm super psyched about. We've heard a lot about Bigfoot, but I want to find out about a different kind of creature. Josh, tell me what's happening in South Carolina.
Well, the people there are still being terrorized by 7 feet of scales, claws, and brawn.
There has been another sighting in South Carolina of the Lizard Man. The legendary beast, who has been terrorizing the rural part of the state for years, has claimed another victim. This time, a Dodge. Paranormal Paparazzi has an exclusive interview with the car's owners.
I thought maybe it was a cat, so I walked back towards the car. And the firewall out of the side where the battery was pulled out with teeth prints pulled around on the car.
These teeth marks weren't made by any ordinary animal.
To be honest with you, people around this neighborhood still don't feel comfortable outside at night.
The recent attack has other frightened citizens recalling their brush with the creature.
He didn't have a long nose like a horse, but he wanted a short nose like a monkey. It was kind of between there.
You've got Lizard Man living in your backyard pretty much.
Well, I tell you, I don't go roaming around at night like I used to do.
I saw one man, I said, have you seen a large creature, maybe 7, 8 feet tall, with big red eyes? And he said, you talking about that lizard man? He said it made some kind of fuss, and it ran off into the swamp. He was so scared that the hair stood up on his head and all his muscles and his whole body tightened up.
This is the infamous bridge where Lizard Man is often seen. He runs out from the swamp here and scares the hell out of people.
Let me tell you, I spent the day with the current sheriff and a former sheriff. These folks take this very seriously, and they want to figure out what kind of creature this is.
There's a radio station offered $1 million reward for the capture of the Lizard Man. I knew he was bringing alcohol in here because that's the normal thing to do.
Sure. The type of guy who's going to go hunting for Lizard Man is drinking some beer while he's doing it.
Have some fun while doing it and maybe pick him up $1 million.
Please tell me you don't believe in this thing.
I'm convinced that there is some type of weird creature that's just tearing up people's cars. I don't know why cars.
Back legs and...
Yeah, walks like a man, 7 feet tall. Horrifying to see running out of the swamp.
Has anyone ever found like a footprint? Because you'd imagine if he's 7 feet tall that he would have a pretty big footprint.
As weird as that was, Scotty, you kind of took a deep dive into the dark side of the paranormal, right?
Yes, I met up with some teenagers from Scottsdale, Arizona that not only believe in demons, they say they can get rid of them.
Scottsdale, Arizona. It's your typical American city with typical American teenagers. Except for these girls. They're Teen Exorcism Squad, and they want to save your soul.
You actually exorcised somebody at age 13.
Yes, my first exorcism was in a church in Africa. Dad was up on stage working with somebody, and then all of a sudden he turned and looked at me and said, Bryn, why don't you cast this demon out?
Our reporter traveled to Arizona and caught up with the girls to dig deeper into this story.
Who are the people that you do the exorcisms on?
We have found that almost anyone can have a demon, and we've done exorcisms on people from all walks of life, from little old grandmothers to business entrepreneurs.
In one case, we've seen extreme supernatural strength, something that person could not do. There was a man who was an average-sized man, probably about 5'7", 5'8", and he was able, through one arm, he was manifesting, to throw a man who was 210 pounds with one arm, throwing him around the room. We're doing this to take exorcism out of the dark closet that it's been shoved into and really show people what it is, and that yes, it is a scary thing, but it doesn't have to be something that is, overpowering, that we can't talk about because it's so frightening. We all have extensive lives full of things that maybe we're not too proud of. And so when we're in an exorcism, we need to really open up our lives and really think about what we've done and what could have been an entrance for demons in our lives.
If you do have a demon, you can get that junk out of you. You don't want it in you.
You don't have to live with it.
And with us, we know how to get it out. And so get rid of that junk so you can have a free life. And we send them to the pit of hell where they belong. And it's interesting, when we're casting out demons, they say, please send me anywhere but the pit of hell. So that's where we send them.
Do we think that maybe these, I mean, they were on Anderson Cooper. Do we think maybe they're just angling for a career as paranormal celebrities?
You know, I tried not to think anything when I went into this. I thought, you know, I'd just go there and check this out. I hadn't seen anything prior to that. There was a test. I failed the test.
The demon manifested a moment ago. It looked at me. Look at me, Satan. Look at me! I'm talking to you, Satan.
It's okay.
You know, I don't really think that this is the place for us to do this right now.
Get the waste paper basket. Come on,
Go.
Come on, Come on.
Dang, really? Scott, what happened?
It's hard to watch. I don't even remember this part of it. I really kind of blacked out. I don't really remember any of it.
Dude, what were you feeling? I mean...
at one minute, I was having fun with these girls, and the next minute, I'm throwing up in a trash can.
Okay, well, I wanted to bring in another expert to talk about this. It's actually Bishop James Long, and he is an exorcist. Bishop James, thanks for joining us. Do you find that there is a concern with people that see exorcism and kind of use it as the extreme sport of the paranormal?
Unfortunately, yes, and there's nothing sporty about this. There's no such thing as a bystander during an exorcism. It just simply doesn't exist. The consequences of performing an exorcism are grave. You're putting the possessed at grave danger. You're putting, of course, the clergy at grave danger, and all those people who are actually present at grave danger. That's why I would never perform an exorcism on camera.
This is what really bothers me about this story. We see people that are going on talk shows and talking about a very heavy topic, very serious topic. How do we know that we're not just creating a crop of paranormal celebrities or people that want to be paranormal celebs?
What's been lurking in a North Dakota high school at night? Find out on Paranormal Paparazzi.
Love hearing about the adventures. Had some really cool ones so far. Branden, where have you been?
I went back to high school.
North Sioux City, South Dakota may seem like just another sleepy town. But according to an article by student Caitlin Miller, Dakota Valley High School is actually a paranormal hotspot.
There was lots of talk about ghosts in our school, and people were wondering, and so I got interviews and learned a lot more than what I thought our school contained.
Do you ever see them? Do they walk around, or are they just 2D and move along the walls?
I've had feelings, but I've never seen them. Now, other people have seen them, and so...
How do they describe them?
Big and dark.
Sounds like me.
You know, I kind of want to know more about the shadow person phenomenon. I think I know the guy to toss it to. Josh.
Yeah, you know, I've published some of this topic, and there are two main theories about the shadow people. One is that they are ghosts that have not fully materialized because of environmental conditions. Second, that they could actually be time travelers from the future that have come back to observe us in the peripheries, but they don't want us to notice them, and they don't want to interact too much with the past.
Well, one thing I did find out is that there was a woman there at that school who will swear that it's haunted, and I got to interview someone who actually saw shadow people.
I see shadows, I see people in the windows, doors being opened, nobody's there, and I'll be in the coach's locker room, and I'll hear the hand dryers out here starting, and I'll say, "Hey, Bob, stop it."
Bob.
I named one of them. It's easier than saying, "Hey, quit it," you know. I'm a very...
Does he respond to Bob?
Yeah, they usually stop. The hand dryers stop.
Can we see the hand dryers? Or there's something that you have to put a sensor under?
No.
It can stop. It can start on its own. It's a sensor.
No, you have to actually push it.
Oh.
And then push it off.
So you're not pushing it?
No. He was going like this, and then he disappeared.
Where did he go? Just in here?
Like wind blew through him, and he was gone.
This woman that we just saw, she spends a lot of time at that school alone, has developed a personal attachment, it seems like, to this phenomenon. But when you were there, did you actually experience anything?
I went back at nighttime, and we hung out in the classroom, and I started hearing unexplained knocks. Are you hearing that? You heard that, right? Yeah. What was that? It was really weird because it was quiet, so I'm not ready to say that there aren't shadow people. There's definitely more in that school than just students and teachers.
You know, we notice we keep saying shadow people instead of ghost. Sometimes people feel more comfortable saying that instead of ghost. It's just an interesting note, and it is, there's a reason that it's one of the most common paranormal phenomena.
It's time for Hollyweird Headlines.
All right, so you guys all have heard of the singer Meatloaf. Had a bunch of hits in the 70s. Apparently, he says that he has not only talked to ghosts, but he has actually chased ghosts down the hall. And you know, if you've seen any of his music videos, he definitely has a penchant for the gothic, for the unexplained, and apparently he's a huge ghost fan.
Yeah, one of the most vocal celebrities about paranormal.
For decades.
Yeah.
Wow. And speaking of singers and ghosts, singer John Mellencamp and writer Stephen King have collaborated on a brand new musical. It's going to be called Ghost Brothers of Darkland County. Should be pretty cool. Stephen King.
I'm excited. Hey, Stephen King's writing it. I'm going to go.
Yeah, you guys are both big Stephen King fans.
Huge and I love him. I love him.
Yeah, John Mellencamp, you can't go wrong.
Well,
Everything he's written.
the story was actually based on a cabin that Mellencamp owned, so there's something there.
Fran Drescher, you know, is the nanny, and she's also the star of Happily Divorced. She said that when she was a child, she was actually abducted by aliens, but that her parents tried to cover it up. Yeah, but she's been piecing it all together, and she says she actually remembers it.
Norman, I'm Rachel from Paranormal Paparazzi on Travel Channel. What is the most common mistake that people make when they are fighting zombies?
To not hit the brain, maybe? Like you have to kill the brain. Maybe that's it. You know, they shoot him in the stomach.
That's a good point. Don't go for the stomach. But so far today, what's the craziest thing that's happened on set?
I don't know, like every day's weird. I mean, you go to the craft service, and there's a zombie eating a donut. You know, it's every day's pretty weird.
What most scares you?
Probably death. I don't want to die, ever. I mean, not just on the show, but in life.
Perfect. Do you believe in the paranormal?
Yeah, totally. I mean, things have happened in my life that, you know, are unexplainable, you know, so, yeah, of course. I mean, like, we're on a tiny mud ball flying through space at 1,000,000 miles an hour, like, you know, we're just a speck in the world.
What do you think of the current Twitter campaign of Kill Carl?
Can't kill Carl. He's a little kid lost in growing up in a zombie apocalypse. Like, I would be way worse. You know what I mean?
Is there a dream celebrity guest that you would love to have do your cameo as a zombie?
Howard Stern would be good. Howard Stern is a zombie. Yeah. I campaigned to have Ted Nugent be my father.
It's time for the Dread Central Report.
My name is Robert Pendergraft. I am the owner of Aunt Ollie's Garage, the effects shop. We do special makeup effects for horror movies and television shows.
Come here, little one.
What we have here today is we have the lovely Emma Jacobs, and we're going to put her into a monster makeup of something that she wants to do. And Roxanne Pike is the key makeup artist here at Aunt Ollie's Garage, and she's going to do the makeup on Emma. So, what is it you want to do today?
A zombie.
You want to do a zombie?
Yes.
All right. We can do that. We can do a zombie. All right. Well, thanks for coming on out to Aunt Ollie's Garage and enjoying the zombie makeup. Till next time.
I've been caught by the Paranormal Paparazzi.
I like the prosthetics.
He tastes like zombies strangled generally.
Return to your living form, Branden.
Right.
Okay.
Can we do that? Can we call the Exorcist people back?
Because we can't get enough of Branden today. We're going to give him a double shot because you're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, the Mothman, right?
Yes, I'm on my grizzly this week. I was in Chicago, Shaw City, and covering a story on Mothman. You got to check this out.
A suspicious flying object was recently spotted in the air in suburban Chicago. Was it man, myth, or moth? Some people think it was the legendary Mothman figure flying in the Chicago skies. Paranormal Paparazzi went to investigate.
You know that Indian, right? So right here in the distance is a photo of what they want to say is Mothman. You've never seen anything like the photo on which I just showed you?
Thank God I have not.
You seem a little afraid about this.
It's a little frustrating to talk about it, yeah, because, I don't know, it's kind of scary.
¿Alguna vez has visto a Mothman?
No, nunca he visto nada.
Nunca.
No.
¿Crees que sea real?
Yo pienso que sí, por las fotos que mostraron.
You see the photo from this area? There's this little thing in the background. It looks like a long-winged creature. You ever seen anything like that in the sky around here?
Man, it is like far away, but I can say that it could be, but
you saw the
like
wings,
I say,
right?
yeah, but
those weren't chicken wings.
Those were not.
No.
Mothman's like the rock star of the paranormal. Do you know anything about him?
I know nothing about him, but I will say this. I did have an enlightening lunch with Josh today, and you were explaining, I know Mothman pops up kind of before there's some natural disaster, but maybe not as the person who's bringing the disaster, but the person who is causing a disaster that is shifting into a different realm.
The cause and effect is weird, but he is a harbinger of doom. In 1967, he was seen in Point Pleasant, West Virginia before the Silver Bridge collapsed. Over 40 people died. So if he's being seen again now, I hate to say it, but it could mean something bad's about to happen.
Yeah, and that town, actually, it dried up. It became pretty dead after the bridge collapse.
Yeah.
Now, Branden, in Chicago, did you actually encounter anyone that saw the Mothman?
No, A-Money. You know I'm not going to Shaw City, baby, and not coming back with an eyewitness testimony.
I was waiting to catch the bus, and I just looked up, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And he just say hello. I'm like, what the, you know?
He just walked past you and said hello?
No, he was in the air up there.
He speaks?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said hello.
And what did you say back?
I said, who in the hell are you?
What was your reaction? Were you scared?
Yeah, I was scared. I mean, I was the only one standing at the bus stop, but people was going across, and they was like,
Busy Chicago.
Did you see something?
Busy Chicago. You was the only one getting on the bus that day.
No, this was at night.
Did you pass a drug test today?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Did she call it the Mothman?
She called it the black winged creature.
And it said hi to her.
Perfect.
It said hi to her.
This woman, she looks actually a little bit scared as a witness. So that kind of means something. Whatever it is, the Mothman, that's a smorgasbord of paranormal. We've got alien, we've got angels, demons, harbingers of doom, interdimensional creatures. It's crazy. And it's a developing story. I like it.
What do UFOs have in common with the rich and famous? Paranormal Paparazzi has the answer.
You guys have done some really good work this week, and I have a special treat for you. You've been running all around, covering paranormal stories, but you're not the only one. In fact, let me introduce you to our celebrity correspondent.
Everyone knows Robin Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. But not everyone knows that Robin has an interest in UFOs. In this Paranormal Paparazzi exclusive, we travel to Las Vegas, where Robin conducts a one-on-one interview with Lee Spiegel.
You were recently awarded UFO Investigator of the Year, Researcher of the Year. Do you reach a conclusion from what you've learned and gathered over 40 years?
We are being visited by something. And I've talked to many scientists, military and commercial pilots who say the same thing. They're convinced that there's something happening, going on in the skies around our planet that we don't understand.
President Jimmy Carter was not the only head of government around the world to claim that he'd seen flying saucers.
Not only did he claim to see one when he was governor of Georgia, but he filed an official report. Bill Clinton, he was on the hot seat a lot because when he became president, he demanded UFO information be brought to his office. He wanted to know what was going on.
You actually took me to somebody who claimed that they had a cat that had arrived from a flying saucer, an outer space cat. And I have to tell you, this was the most unusual cat I have ever seen in my entire life. It was unique, and the person who owned it swore that it was from outer space.
There's even a website on the internet. It has a survey. If you think that you have a cat or a dog or a bird that may be from another planet, they'll have a survey of questions of things that you can ask yourself and ask members of your family to help determine if this cat is from outer space.
I want to know what constitutes a pet that comes from outer space.
Mike,
what are the signs?
What kind of shots do you need for that pet? Just saying.
Right? Mine is such a jerk. I feel like that would explain something at least.
Lee Spiegel, though, he's the man when it comes to UFOs. From Lizard Man to Mothman, we've covered a lot of territory this week. But the story I liked the most was, I think, the Teen Exorcist Squad.
Oh, yeah.
I found it enlightening and disturbing all at once. And there's just a lot of kind of conflict going on there, a lot of controversy.
Yeah. And a lot afterwards, too. Things have changed in my life.
So your takeaway from that is you think something actually happened?
Until I saw the footage when I got here, I really didn't know what happened. Now the emotions are coming back. So it was a win-win.
Guys, we're not getting rich and famous hanging out here, so go out there and give me some more stories.
Listen.